Hello, this is Manish Patel from Ichimoku Today is February 1st, 2015. This is our executive summary for all the U.S. future products, where we cover everything from commodities like corn, soybeans, and so forth, to crude oils, to metals, gold, platinum, copper, heating oil, bonds, and treasuries, and so forth. This is a normal disclaimer to state this is for education use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell any particular instruments. If you do so, you're doing that at your own risk. All the information is owned by EII Capital. It cannot be copied or distributed to anyone without our written permission. All the charts you're going to see are basically from TradeStation in this video. Here are our contact details here. You could go to our website at ichimokutrade.com, access our real-time scanner now that we have for global markets, where you can find institutional support resistances. Also, you have the ability to see a lot of free videos, access our multiple time frame email alerts, and so forth. If you have any questions or need any information, you can email us at info@eiicapital.com, or you could call us at any of our global office locations here shown at the bottom. Okay, so let's go straight to TradeStation. Remember, on the left hand side is basically the weekly time frame. On the right hand side is basically the monthly time frame. Okay, so we're going to start going through soybeans. If you look at soybean here, soybean oil, you can see this is nice bullish trending on both the daily and weekly. It broke the support at 31.95. After that, it's pretty much been in a nice little trend, and that's pretty much a trend that's continued from the monthly time frame. It's got a high probability, believe it or not. It's getting to 28.84. It still looks very strong to a possibility. It can sit there and keep on going lower, all the way down to 21.85. So just keep an eye on that one. But the next support is 28.84. Soybeans here. If you look at soybeans here, this is bearish trending here on the weekly time frame here. It held this resistance level right here at 20.78 and it looks like it's trying to retest that low and possibly get down to this major support, which is at 8.72. And if you look at it on a weekly monthly time frame, this is a nice little bearish trend here. It's trying to go for its first major pullback. If it could sit there and break this 872 level, then this thing's going to go for a major pullback, or this could consolidate and go for a major pullback. So this critical level, it's got a high probability of getting to this 872 level. After that, we have to wait and see what's going to go happening here. In order for this to resume its long-term bullish trend here, it's got to break the resistance at 1098 in order to start the bearish bullish trend again. Okay, next is soybean meal. This, like here, if you could see here on the monthly time frame, this nice bullish trending here, going for little pullbacks here, but nothing major at all. The weekly time frame looks a little ugly. Reason why this is consolidating a little here at the top side. It's at a minor support right now at 323. If it could hold that support and break this minor resistance at 344, it'll retest this high at 380 and then could possibly keep on going higher. In order for this thing to start a major pullback, it's got to break at least the 302 level. If it breaks the 302 level, then it's going to get down to 380. 380 is going to be the major support level in order for the monthly time frame to engage in its first major pullback. Corn, you could see here, it's just one ugly chart as far as long-term picture is concerned here. It is tilted to the bearish side here because the sentiment is bearish here, and you can see from the weekly time frame this is bearish. It's at a minor support right now, which is at 373 and 3/8. It broke that support, but we need to see a follow through this week. If we see a follow through, it's going to retest this low at 336 1/8, and at that point it does have a high probability of breaking it, where it can sit there and come back all the way down to this 2010 low right there. So keep an eye on corn. Oats, this is ugly here too. It had a chance to sit there and go bullish, but it didn't hold the support here at 306 and 1/8. Since it didn't hold that support at all, this now has a high probability of sitting there consolidating long-term picture-wise. But if you look at the weekly time frame, that basically is entering a bearish trend right now. It's got a very high probability of getting to the 352 and 1/8. Once it gets there, then it'll probably consolidate, but this will probably trend down to the on the weekly time frame to that level, and then at that point it'll probably consolidate. If it breaks that support at there, then it will continue to keep on going down. OJ, orange juice, really not doing anything except consolidating right now. between what is this, 126 and 156.55, an ugly consolidation pattern, if you could see on the monthly time frame. On the weekly, had a chance to sit there and go bearish. It's sitting there hesitating completely right now, and it's stuck between 137.72 and 149.49. So it depends on which one it breaks in order to start a trend. Wheat here, you can see it's a nice trend on the monthly time frame. On the weekly time frame here, had a little hiccup here, but you could see this pullback on the weekly time frame was still a minor pullback here for the monthly time frame. So this thing is still very, very strong to a point. It's got a high probability here of getting to this 467, and if it gets this support within 3 to 4 weeks, it has a high probability of breaking it. If it decides to consolidate a little before getting to the support, it's going to weaken this bearish movement to a point it may consolidate for a little while on the weekly time frame. Coffee here, it looks ugly here on the weekly monthly time frame, but it's still, believe it or not, bearish. It just looks like it's trying to establish a major consolidation pattern. We believe the new consolidation pattern is going to be about between 146 and 223. It will only establish a consolidation pattern if it holds the support here. If it doesn't hold that support here, it'll retest that low here, which will pretty much start a nice bearish trend here on the weekly time frame. Sugar here, if you look at sugar, this is basically a bearish trending. Now it's starting to occur in this big white consolidation pattern, and you can see both the weekly and the monthly are now entering a consolidation pattern. A bearish trend here to a point. It's got a high probability of coming all the way down, believe it or not, to about $11.48. Rough rice. If you look at rough rice here, we've been talking about this one. This broke the support at 13.497. After it broke that on the monthly time frame, this thing has basically been bearish trending on both the weekly and the monthly time frame. Got to a first little target support level at 10.716. The major one's going to be roughly around 10. Cocoa, really not doing anything except consolidating here. You could see that on the monthly time frame. On the weekly, it's trying to sit there. It's going for a major pullback, but this pullback is occurring too much to a point now. It destroyed this major pullback for this bullish trend, and now this thing's trying to go bearish, but it looks like it's going to consolidate. Once it gets to about 25.99, then it's got a high probability of consolidating, and then we'll have to wait and see if it could sit there and break some supports to start a bearish trend. Cotton, you can see here, this is a major pullback level right here. Cotton had to hold, which is a 68.12. It didn't hold that at all, so this is starting to break down here to the next support level here. So this is the bottom of the consolidation pattern, which is 54.77. If it breaks this, this is going to start a long-term bearish trend on the monthly time frame. You can see the weekly is already bearish already as it is. So most likely what will probably happen is this will get to about 54.77. The weekly, since it's already trending, will probably sit there, consolidate a little around 54.77, equalize a little on the weekly time frame, and then at that point it could possibly break down. But everything is starting to set up for cotton to basically tank even further. Crude oil, which everyone's been waiting for. You can see crude oil is basically, you can see here, it kind of held the support roughly around 49.47. Here it bleeped a little below it, but now it pretty much came back by the end of the week and closed very, very close to that 49.47 level here. But this is still bearish trending on both the weekly and the monthly time frame. The Ichimoku indicators are all pointing down, so this is still very, very strong to a point. It still, believe it or not, has a high probability of getting to 37.12. We'll revisit this in 2 weeks, but right now everything still looks high probability to keep on going. Heating oil still looks trending on both the weekly and monthly time frame. Held a support here at 1.7011 and it's trying to get to 1.4428. The weekly time frame is still very, very strong to a point it could break this minor support here and get to the bottom there, which is retesting the low. Natural gas here, you could see bearish trending here, consolidate, went for a major pullback, but it was not much of a major pullback to a point. This thing is still very, very strong. It's at the bottom of the major consolidation pattern, which is 2.693. Believe it or not, the weekly is now setting it up. So there's a high probability that this week or next week it's going to break the support, and if it does, this is going to take to a whole new level going down. So watch out for the natural gas, people. Gasoline here, You can see nice bearish trending here on the weekly time frame. It's going for its first major pullback on the monthly time frame here. Support level that we're kind of predicting it to kind of sit there and balance out is this level here, which it kind of got to, which is 1.3641. However, the weekly is showing some signs a little where it's starting to not be too bearish at all, but this is still very, very bearish. So I would hold off on trying to go bullish and bottom pick this right now and try to play this major pullback at all right now, because this is still very strong bearish on the lower time frames. Let's go to livestock now. If you look at livestock, the first one's going to be feeder cattle. If you look at feeder cattle here, high volatile situations here on the monthly. This is bullish trending, believe it or not, on the monthly time frame here, and you can see it's bullish trending here, where this went through a major pullback right now. Major pullback level is going to be basically 200. It's got a high probability of bouncing off that and coming back up to about 220, and at that point we'll have to see. But this is still very strong to a point it could break this 220 resistance level, come all the way up to 230, and then sit there and keep on going higher. Live cattle here, really not doing anything as far as the long-term picture is concerned. You can see these big volatile moves here, but if you look at the weekly time frame, this is bullish trending here, where it's going for its first major pullback levels. These are the major pullback levels we're kind of seeing where it could possibly stop, and at that point trying to resume back up here to these resistance levels here. Lean hog here, you look at lean hog, really not much going on here. Very crazy scenario here. Nice bearish trending here, consolidating, pulled back, held the pullback level at 110, kind of come down here and is trying to retest this low here all the way down here. So it got to the one support, major support, the 71.819, kind of held that level there, but the weekly time frame still very, very strong to a point it could sit there and break that support, go down to 68.815, break that and keep on going to continue its journey downwards. Platinum, you could see here bearish trending on both the weekly and monthly time frame. The weekly, however, is showing some signs of weakening now as far as this bearish trend is concerned. This minor support level right here has got to be broken in order for this to continue its trend to the downside and get to this 1097 level. If this support here holds and this thing starts making a move back up and breaks this pivot here, watch out, this thing is going to come back to 1350, and at that point we're going to be at a very critical level. If it breaks that resistance here, then this thing right here is going to enter one big consolidation pattern. As long as this resistance of 1350 holds, the platinum is basically bearish and can start a major trend to the downside. Copper, this is one we've been talking about going bearish. The bearish trend has started and continuing to keep on going down. It got to our first support level here, which is at 2.4883. It's still very, very strong in the lower time frames to a point it could possibly break that to keep on its journey all the way down to 2.2095. Silver, if you look here, this is bearish trending here on the monthly time frame, where it's trying to get back to the bottom of this consolidation pattern here. It's still very, very strong, because it is holding, as far as the monthly is concerned, the resistance at 17.929. If you look at the weekly time frame, this is still bearish here. However, it's got to sit there and break this minor support 16.330 in order to resume the bearish trend to the downside. If it breaks this resistance here, then this thing's going to sit there and go for a pullback here on a monthly time frame, which can sit there and try to change the sentiment here on the weekly time frame. But in order for the weekly here to enter a major pullback, it's got to break this resistance at 18.718. Gold, this is one that's interesting. Everyone's saying everyone's buying gold and it's bullish now. If you look at the monthly time frame, this is a nice bullish trend here. This is a major pullback. It held the major pullback level here. Well, it had some major pullback levels where it could have stopped here, here, and here. So this is the one it kind of stopped at, which is 1186. Okay, and that's establishing a major pullback support now. Major resistance on this guy, there's a one minor one that it held, which is based on the weekly time frame, which is 1312. The major one is going to be at 1346. If it could sit there and break this resistance at 1346, gold's going to sit there and long term go back to its upward momentum as far as long term picture is concerned. If it sits there and holds as 1346 or even holds as 1312, this thing's going to have a high probability of retesting this low here, and that's going to be a consolidation pattern where it possibly could sit there and consolidate for another 2 months before a timing element in about the third month kicks in. 30-year treasuries, sorry. 30-year treasuries, you can see is bullish trading on both the daily and the weekly here. Sorry, the weekly and the monthly time frame. And you can see it got to one resistance already. Next resistance is going to be 153, and the next one's going to be 154.15 and 32s. But this is extremely strong right now. The 30 years are. The 10-year is not as strong as the 30, but you could see this is continuing its journey here. Our next resistance levels are going to be 131.05 and 132.08. The 5-year, you could see too, this is still bullish, trending just like the 30 and the 10. It's approaching resistance at 121.23 and 122.10. Next one's going to be the 2-year, and you can see this is bullish, trending on both the daily, weekly, and monthly, and it's approaching its resistance at 110 and at 110.0205. And lastly, the dollar. You can see the dollar here is bullish, trending on the weekly time frame, and on the monthly time frame you can see a nice little bearish trend here. And believe it or not, these two levels here mark off a major resistance for the pullback for that nice bearish trend to go downwards. So it's going to be interesting to see whether it sits there and stops here or there. Now, if it stops here or there, this thing has gone out with vengeance to a point it may just take a rest temporarily there and then pull back to any of these support levels or even the weekly support levels. That's what we have to wait and see. But the sentiment for dollar has permanently changed now on the long-term view when it broke the resistance at 88.72. So this is no longer bearish at all right here. Even though it's going for a major pullback, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what's going to happen at those two levels there. Okay, that's it for this executive summary for all the future products. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. Thank you.